Hey everybody, we're back. We're live. Nick's not quite ready yet,
Mm, That was a
but
I needed that I needed that drink of beer. So,
I think he's ready now. His voice sounds smooth like butter.
oh yeah, smooth sounds of Nick Andrews.
Oh, welcome back to Under the Covers with Charlie and Nick. We're back for what is this, episode 9, I believe.
Number nine, number nine,
Uh-oh,
number
copyright
nine.
copyright infringement.
I've been working on that all day. With my low soothing sounds of Nick. So,
I like it.
um,
I like it.
you know, today I was gonna wear bad teeth because this will lead into the song we're doing today, which I'm excited about.
I don't know if it's necessarily bad tea. I mean, they were all British, so at least the original artists. Well, one of them was from Africa. But moved to
Wow,
Britain.
that's a
But
that's a teaser. That's a
uh-oh,
teaser.
uh-oh, maybe people have already noticed the album. I don't know if they're watching.
Yeah, the six listeners we have are like, oh man, let's
Matt's
look for
like,
the clues.
"Fuck yeah, I know what this is." Oh
Oh,
gosh, what are we doing today?
um, well,
I mean, what are
we
we doing in general? Like, why are we here?
why
Why
are
are
we
people
here?
listening to us?
What is under the covers?
Yes.
Well, we're just two normal dudes, and we love music, and so what we
Hmm.
do is we've been listening to popular music, popular typically rock songs, but not always. And then we listen to a cover version of that same song.
Hmm.
We discuss them. We fist fight every now and then. We edit out bad words that I say because I push the envelope, and then
I'm
at,
censoring Nick.
and then yeah, I didn't know I was that much of a bad boy.
You've got some
And then
hate
at the
mail coming for you.
and then at the end, after a couple beers, we pick which one we like better independently because it's not always the same.
Yep,
And so yeah, that's the gist of this show, and we're starting to get in a groove. I think.
I think so. I think so. It's feeling a little more comfortable now.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think I was ever necessarily uncomfortable. I mean, this is way outside of my realm of comfort in
Hmm.
general, and but it's been fun.
Yeah.
I felt great about every episode so far.
Yeah. I uh, I started listening to some of our back episodes. I wasn't a subscriber to our own
Son of a
channel.
bitch.
So
Sorry, Phyllis. Not really.
we got one we got one more subscriber, and it happens to be me. Um, it's gonna be May. Uh, if you wanted to use a song reference there. Um, but
Has
yeah,
has
it's
has Scott subscribed yet? Because if he
no.
hasn't, I'm gonna
Uh,
unsubscribe from his
I
channel.
think he's rather pissed off. I think he's pissed off that we even have a channel. Um, it's crazy. He's turning the heat up in the house, trying to spend all my money, and like, oh my gosh, stop. Um, but
Oh,
today's today's song is a banger. I mean, I use that term a
hmm.
lot. This is the I don't know, this is the biggest song we've had to date. I think by the numbers.
Yeah, by the numbers for sure. Um, yeah, we've had uh, Michael Jackson, Taylor Swift. I mean, those have probably been our two biggest, especially Michael Jackson's song. But now today we've got Queen, and we'll be doing Bohemian
Yes.
Rhapsody off the album A
Hmm.
Night at the Opera. Love that album. It's my favorite Queen album by far, start to finish. It's epic.
It's a big one. It's it,
Yeah. It
it
it takes you for the whole album takes you for a ride just like the song does. Like there it's
nice.
it's kind of like what My Morning Jacket does now too with their albums. I mean, it's just all sorts of different genres of music in one album.
You
I
know,
dig it.
I don't think I ever really looked at all the songs on this album. Um, Now that I'm going through it, you're right. It's certainly
Yeah. I'm in love with my car. That song hits hard. That's a rock song right there.
yeah. Wow.
Blazing on a Sunday afternoon. It's beautiful. Um, what's the one? Is it 39 that there's like a bit in it where there's like a musical interlude with like they sound like horns and kazoos and percussion instruments, and all they're using is their mouths, their voices, and they have a tap dancing sequence in it, and I read they used like thimbles on their fingers to do the tap dancing, like Freddie
Really?
Mercury. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty cool. So
Gosh.
good album, start to finish. But it ends second to last song really, really well with Bohemian Rhapsody.
What's the last song on the album?
God Save the Queen.
Oh, well,
So
that's
so they didn't
appropriate.
write it. So they covered that was the Queen covered a song on this album.
Yeah, that's pretty appropriate. Um, that's a good ending, like to an album with an epic second to the last song. Uh,
Hmm.
you know how I feel about Layla, and how
Oh
that
God,
album ends.
yes. What's that
And
last
I
song
mean,
called? Thorn in a
Thorn Tree in the Garden.
Thorn Tree in the Garden. Gosh, that's
Now,
that's a skip every time.
I want to put little puppies in a trash can when I hear Thorn Tree in the Garden, because it ruins the very last notes of Layla. Um, but
Which is
if
an
you're from,
amazing album,
it is a great album, top front to back. I love it.
front to
But
almost back.
yeah, except for that last bit. I mean, that gosh, those guys. Uh, but when you're from England, I guess "God Save the Queen" being the last song is pretty respectful.
Yeah,
So
and with
I
your
can't.
the band name being Queen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Didn't put that together yet. It's been one of those
What
days.
so as a designer yourself and an art school student, what do you think of their logo? Have you looked into that at all, or
I haven't really looked into it.
I mean, looked at it at
I've
least?
looked at it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's legit.
yeah,
Um, I'm- I mean they it just fits them.
it does.
It's funny because it's one of those things where it's so associated with them that I almost couldn't think of him without it. And you know what, Queen for a long time, I didn't know really who was the face of Queen. I mean, this is when I was a real little kid, so I just always saw the logo and was like,
Mm,
that's the band. Um, but obviously now that I'm older, and obviously Freddie Mercury and the movies and all this, and then what's the damn guitarist name? I can't remember his name.
Brian May.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He which he looks weird.
He looks cool, man. It's still to this day he's got his long curly hair.
yeah, and it turned from black to white
Yeah,
overnight. It felt like, even though he's probably like 90 years old. I think he's a rocket scientist or something like that.
he has a doctorate, I think. Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
went back to school and yeah, got a PhD. But Freddie actually designed their logo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he used different symbolism in it. The phoenix for the sign of basically like everlasting life, coming back to life, rising from the dust.
Nice.
Um, and then he also incorporated well, the middle part is actually like a Q ribbon. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of, and then there's the astrological symbols um, for each band member is in there. Like,
Nah, they ripped that from Led Zeppelin.
yeah, and hey, you know what? The stars were aligned for both bands.
But that wasn't Led Zeppelin's astrological symbols. They just made up cool symbols and were like, "That's what we are."
That's what we are. They
You
they
know what
talk
we
to the
haven't even
devil.
done?
Hmm.
We haven't even told people who covered this song yet.
We haven't. We haven't. We've been leaving them on the edge, waiting. Some people might currently be panicking
Panic
at the disco.
at the disco.
That is
Uh,
the artist who covered this song.
Panic
And
at
that
the
we'll be
disco.
talking about. Yes. Yeah. And are you supposed to say their name like that? Like
I don't know.
Panic at the disco.
It weirds me out. Panic
It's
at
written
the
that way.
disco.
um,
Panic.
Another band that covered this
At the disco.
that we won't be talking about.
What?
Have you heard of the band Pussifer?
No.
It's Maynard James Keenan's like side band. It's one of his side projects from Tool, or apart from Tool, and they covered this
Nice.
song. And it's
Nice.
it's pretty good. It's fun
Wow.
to hear. I love Maynard's voice.
Lofty.
He's one of the few. He's one of the few that can sing in 4 different octaves, just like Freddie Mercury. Yeah. So I thought that's
I didn't know that.
kind of fitting for. Yeah, kind of fitting for them to sing it.
I was proud to bring Scott to his first rock concert, which was Tool, about 2 months ago or a month and a half ago, and he enjoyed it. I don't think he had any idea what he was going to get into, but it was sort of interesting. One of his friends fell asleep in the stand, like I'm talking, like straight up asleep, like out.
Yeah,
And,
I remember talking to Scott about that. He was just kind of was half chuckling under his breath, like, "Yeah, I can't believe the kid fell asleep." He told me they had earplugs in, so that probably helped.
Yeah, but there's concerts you could sleep at. I mean, I can see saying like, John Mayer on his acoustic night or something like that.
Yeah, no, I've seen Tool a few times, and A Perfect Circle is another one of Maynard's bands that I've seen, and I can't imagine falling asleep at one of those shows.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Amazing.
So I think they still make fun of him, but it was a fun night. We all had a good time, and Scott loved it. Light show. By the way, if you get a chance to go see Tool, go see Tool.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, back to Queen.
Yeah. Do we have a sponsor tonight?
We do. We do have a sponsor.
Man, we're stringing these together really good.
We've been lucky. Out of those 26 listeners, they must have connections that pass our info along.
Targeted audience.
Yeah. So this week,
you don't need 1 billion impressions. You need 1 million of the right ones.
Oh, that was beautifully said. Beautifully said.
Or 26 of the right ones. You need if you're in the market for golden showers, all you need is 20. All right.
We got a good sponsor today. This week's episode is sponsored by Beelzebub's Bail Bonds. Did your mama just kill a man? Did she put a gun against his head? Pulled the trigger, now he's dead? Is the prosecutor putting your mother under pressure? Well, have no fear. We won't let them tie your mother down. Call Beelzebub's Bail Bonds today, and we'll get your killer queen back on the streets.
Beelzebub Bail Bonds. We're your best friend.
They asked me to do that last line. That's their tagline.
We've got probably 25 listeners at this point now that people know that we have the pitch shift button. There's somebody who's like,
I've been waiting for a moment to use it.
I was on the edge of getting rid of these guys anyway. Today's the day I'm getting rid of them. Unsubscribe because of the fucking pitch shift.
Oh, God. But this will bring them back.
David Grohl. I'm gonna go with David, man. I'm gonna go with David. I hope someday David Grohl actually comes on this podcast. As a matter of fact, this could reel him in.
This could. I've been tagging him in our social posts.
Every freaking one.
It doesn't matter what it's about. I just tagged David Grohl.
The weird thing is he's probably not getting any of these because they're all at David Grohl, right?
Some lawyer in Baltimore is getting on. He's like, "Who the hell are these guys tagging me?" Oh,
The fun thing is folks, we have a pitch shift button, but we also have this auto tune button that we have no idea how to use. And wait till we get to motherfucking T-Pain. I mean, I'm telling you, auto tune for an hour.
yes, yes. Tell your friends they must be here for the T-Pain episode.
Oh my gosh. Are
Oh,
we doing bail bonds? Is that what the sponsor was?
yeah. Beelzebub's bail bonds. Yes. So
Oh shit.
I'll tag Dog the Bounty Hunter in this one.
All
So you know what
right.
this song? You know what this song always makes me think of is the movie Wayne's World. Because
Everybody thinks of it because all the people that knew the song before this are aging or old or dead.
exactly, so people our age, it was just like boom, in the right spot.
I don't know why I'm losing it so bad right now with the bail bonds. Like I'm like sitting there being like, oh shit. Between the pitch shift, the 25 listeners, the auto tune, and the bail bonds, I just went over an edge here.
Oh God!
All right, back on track.
Back to the song.
So what the hell were you even talking about at the beginning of this? What does this song remind you of?
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World, yes.
Yeah,
Oh
Wayne's
my gosh,
World's
the
a movie.
back of my head hurts.
Okay. Whew, gotta take a breath.
So
Wayne's World.
yes, this was predominantly shown in Wayne's World in the car scene.
You just imagine him in the car headbanging.
And yes, yes.
Oh, weren't
so
they on
it's
the way
funny.
to
There's a story about. Go ahead. I don't know what. Oh, and I didn't know where they were coming from. Oh my gosh. So here's a funny story. Obviously everybody knows the headbanging scene in Wayne's World, and back in college, we were at a house party, and I went to an art school, and they were listening to all this, out there artsy music, and one of our best friends, Sean, was like, "This is horrible music," and we had happened to have, for whatever reason, Bohemian Rhapsody on a burnt CD in his car. And I said, you know what this party needs is Bohemian Rhapsody. So we go wading. He goes wading out to the car, or get out to the car. He goes wading through the crowd there. He goes right to the CD player, puts in this Bohemian Rhapsody, and this whole party stopped for like the entire song until the headbanging part. And as the headbanging part happened, everybody starts jumping up and down. And there were so many people in this living room that we literally thought the floor was going to collapse. And Sean, who's a big dude, was like, "Stop, everybody!" like trying to curtail the wave of headbanging and jumping. And that's the way people feel when they listen to that part. And you know what? I don't know if it's because of Wayne's World or if it was like that before that, because don't remember. I don't remember the song before Wayne's World. So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it does the way the song takes you from an a cappella start, and then it goes into like a ballad, and then that's when you hit that. You get a guitar solo, get an opera in there with the Figaros and the Mamma Mias, and then you go back into rock, and then it ends on a nice little crescendo of a ballad.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, so when they envisioned this, or when Freddie Mercury envisioned this, it was a mock opera. That's what he was trying to create here. And for those that don't know what that is, well, there was a rock opera, which a lot of people cite 1969's Tommy by the Who as the first rock opera.
Okay.
Some others being Rise and Fall, Ziggy Stardust, Rocky Horror Picture Show is a rock opera, Bat Out of Hell, and more recently, Green Day's American Idiot was a rock opera, but this song was supposed to be just sort of, I don't want to say making fun of, because all the parts and pieces were a little serious, but kind of like saying, hey, I'm kind of ripping that off in a 5-minute song or whatever. So
I didn't realize
and
that.
yeah, it was it was kind of from left field. I know that they had complex songs before this, but this was way over the top complex.
Yeah, and I heard, I don't know, should we listen to it and then we can talk about it a little more, or do you want to?
Yeah, this could be a 9-hour episode for how we're losing it today, but that's good. We can go with it for sure.
This might be a good spot to listen to it, and that way, our listeners can listen, and come back.
There's a
and
lot
then,
to talk about.
Yeah, so I think that's a good spot to listen.
Yeah.
So we will put all the links to various spots so you can listen to it, since we can't play it currently, and we'll have a little musical interlude, and we'll be back soon.
And this song is 5 minutes and 54 seconds. And guys, this is a big one. Has 2.3 billion listens on Spotify here. So it's been around the bush. It's a slut in and of itself.
This is the most listened to song on Spotify that we've had yet.
Yeah. So we're proud to be with her. So give it a spin, and we'll be back shortly.
I love that you threw that in there.
Now that is a song.
That is an amazing song.
Yes. Where the heck do you start? Let's talk about vocals.
Okay. It's a good place to start.
Yeah. It's been said, and I don't know if I can disagree, that this is the greatest rock vocal performance of all time. And not necessarily all the harmonies and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, if you just listen to Freddie Mercury's vocals, I don't know if I could think of something better.
No, I'm literally get goosebumps just thinking about it. Wow. The way he can go from just this beautiful, smooth croon to this raspy rock voice from, just in an instant, and go back and forth, and wow.
Yeah. It from heavy breath, like where it's just his it's more wind coming out versus vocals, to overdriven vocal cords. Where it's breaking up, and he does it quick and in tune, obviously, which it's it's just amazing that he did that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of another artist that comes even close to that. That's the whole thing. It's not like it's a photo finish, or it's in the top 10. Here's the other 9. Man, it's straight up. And if you guys get a chance to listen, go on to YouTube and type in Bohemian Rhapsody isolated vocals, and it'll if you don't get goosebumps from it, then you ain't human.
It's amazing. Yeah, Nick had sent that to me the other day. I hadn't listened to it in a few years, and yeah, I listened to it twice that night. Just put my headphones in and just sat there and listened to it. It's epic. And then to think about
Yeah.
how they recorded those vocals, it was all analog, no digital, and
Yeah.
so they had to put them all on different tracks on actual tape, and wow,
Well, that's
it's they did a great job.
Yeah. Back in 75, I mean, that was a huge engineering feat.
Mm-hmm.
So they had over 180 overdubs on this song, which, today in the digital age, when you have unlimited tracks, you can do whatever you want, and you can balance them however you want, and you can change them all the way through. In 1975, the best machines and what they record this on had 24 tracks. So when they were starting to do all these harmonies and overdubs and stuff like that, they couldn't play 180 tracks. They had to narrow them down to 24. So when they did that, they had to do 24 tracks and bounce them. They use the word bounce and put them down to 2 or 1 and mix them then. And they couldn't go back. It was like you couldn't.
Once you had recorded it, that's what it was.
That's what it was. And when you flattened it, so to speak. And they were even saying at the end of this is that some of the original tapes that they were using to bounce these things back and forth were because every time they go through a machine and get recorded, I mean, think of your old tape when you were a kid and how that little thing came up to record. It takes a little bit of that tape away, and some of the tapes they could say that they could almost see through them because they were so thin. But
yeah, I actually saw an interview with Brian May, and yeah, he had talked about that, and yeah, he actually said there was like it was like sawdust, like it was the film dust. Now I can't remember the word for that on there, but yeah, he said the machine they were using originally that was making a lot of the tape so thin was actually a little faulty, and so if they had kept using it, they could have potentially like this song could have been lost.
Yeah, and they they recorded this in several different times and places. It was built up over a long period of time. But it's also interesting that some of the way they did things with their harmonies, because every one of the drummer didn't sing a lot, from my understanding. So one of the things that I think that when people hear all the vocals that are going on there, they either think that there's an actual choir there, which there was no choir there. But the three dudes all did the vocals themselves, and Roger Taylor, their drummer, right? He was a drummer. He actually did the highest parts. So when you hear what you think is a lady, it's actually Roger Taylor. And then Freddie Mercury did almost all the mid parts, which were, I mean, you can hear his tone. So,
and then Brian May had the lower parts, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Out of, deductive reasoning.
Deductive. Yeah, and that I'm sure they had a bass player. I mean, like I said, nobody knows who bass players are anyway, unless you're in Rush.
I have a note about the bass player, but that's in the music video part of our conversation. But yeah. So I think they recorded, because they were limited again, like Nick said, to the tracks that they could actually take on this, and so I think what I've heard was that they had some parts where they would sing them each part separate, and then they layered it where they would all sing it together to make it more full in the final production.
every studio trick in 1975, I think they did on this. I mean, they had a little bit of effects. There's even parts where when they were recording it or bouncing it back, that they would, the engineer would put their finger on the tape to slightly modulate it, so it would be like have these different effects. And I mean, again, they didn't have digital effects. They didn't really understand this. A lot of this was just done with analog stuff. So
Yeah, yeah, and no synthesizers on the whole
no,
album. It's funny, they make a note of that in the liner notes on the album. You know, where it's listing all the credits. There's like literally the last line is no synthesizers! Exclamation point.
so you know what I thought was interesting was, so there's a part in there where he goes, "Send shivers down my spine," and there's
Oh,
this
the
like ringing
yeah,
thing.
like those hanging like bird chime or wind chimes. Somebody, you know, the drummer just went
Yeah,
down with it.
that those aren't wind chimes.
No, what
No,
is it?
it's Brian May's guitar.
Oh
He
wow.
it's behind the bridge, so your strings go up, and there's these really high parts, and he strums on this other part of the guitar that nobody's ever supposed to strum at. But that's what that sound is. It's not bells. It's not
Huh.
the little chimey things.
Did not know
Mine,
that.
mine.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
And speaking of
Well,
his guitar, I don't know if it's I didn't read too deep into it, but I did read some stuff that he made the guitar from like a mantle from his childhood house. That's like 200-year-old wood.
really?
Yeah, I should have done more digging because that's pretty
Well,
interesting.
he
But
probably has 200-year-old. Yeah, he probably has 200-year-old wood now because he's 200 years old.
the power of Viagra.
Um,
Well, he probably
the
uses
power.
hymns now because you know it's ships discreet.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, I'm getting targeted by those guys a lot. They definitely know my age.
They should they should sponsor us. I mean, we're in our 40s. We
I
just brought him
guess.
up in the podcast. Hymns, reach out to us. You've heard me
Hymns
read our
reach out
ads.
to us.
I got you. I got you, bro.
And hymns, go ahead and reach out to me personally too. So, one of the criticisms of this song, when it first was being pitched, was that they were just rhyming bullshit words. So you don't even know we're going to do this, Charlie. But we're going to play a little game show called "Do You Know What the Fuck This Means?"
Oh no. Okay.
So
I guess I'm the contestant because
you're the
I'm the
contestant.
only one here.
Ding, ding, ding. Um, so let's go through these words.
Ooh.
Scaramouche. Do you know what Scaramouche means? You're the word
Scaramouche.
guy.
Yeah. So Scaramouche means when somebody pushes you from the touche, also known as the tush, and it scares you. So you're Scaramoushed. It's like a goose. It's like when somebody gooses you. Is that what it is?
Scaramouche. It must have been what Joe Cocker had on that first album cover.
Yeah.
No, it basically means it's a naughty clown,
Oh, okay.
like a
Well,
mischievous clown.
a naughty clown would goose you, so I was on the right path.
All right, so now you know at least the context of this game show.
Okay.
Fandango.
Fandango.
What is? Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, there was the
Other than a ZZ Top album.
that a Fandango is an extravaganza.
It's you're closer. You're in the stratosphere of it. It's a lively partner dance from Portugal.
Okay.
Okay. Now this one I'll be disappointed if you don't get. Galileo Galilei.
Galileo the philosopher.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's an astronomer from Italy. He did a bunch of other stuff. It was Renaissance guy, so he did like a gazillion things, right?
Yeah.
Figaro.
Figaro is a musical term that Figaro was an Italian clown.
Pretty close, but not. It's a barber who was a matchmaker in some French play. So
okay.
All right, Bismillah, or whatever. I don't know.
That
Bismillah, no.
That would be a a jailer, like somebody who puts you in jail.
No. It means in the name of God.
Oh gosh. Okay.
And then Beelzebub.
Oh well, they're our bail bond sponsor. Also known the devil.
Our bail bond sponsor.
Satan, the devil.
Lord of the Flies and a demon, so pretty close. So yeah, I mean, you got basically
Okay.
none of those, which is good. It's a very
I mean, you put me on the spot here. It was fun. I mean,
well, shit. But I don't think honestly, if you go down the road, people will say those words, and you know what? I bet you they'll like act like they know what they are, but they were. I mean, I would have never have guessed any of those. So
no. I mean,
that
I did all right. I'll
you did it.
take that as a C.
You got a 1.5. I mean, that's good.
1.5 out of 3.
1, 2,
Oh,
3, 4, 5, 6. 1.5 out of 6.
All right. I'll do better next time.
So
that was fun.
Yeah, the song. Yeah. We had you guys, these 24 listeners now, did because we keep doing the pitch shift. They didn't realize they were getting into a game show today. So yeah, it's a hell of a song. And then, I mean, to cover this,
Oh God,
how big are your Beelzebubs?
Holy cow! Like this, yeah. To actually have the gall to try to do this is amazing.
Yeah.
But before we get into the cover, I did want to bring up the music video because it was pretty intense. Have you watched it recently?
I actually haven't watched it recently. I feel like I need a flashlight or something like that and turn the lights off.
So the video, like I watched it a couple times just because I've been trying to watch videos of the songs we've been doing because I think that's a fun little thing, especially if people just click on the YouTube links so they can see the video.
Yep.
But this one, it starts out, and you'll probably remember like the iconic imagery of a backlit, just their foreheads when they're singing a cappella. Then the lights come on in front. It's quite awkward, honestly, if you're watching it. But then they go into a concert, and this is where
that's usually how I start foreplay. Is just in the dark.
This is where your flashlight comes in, and but what really struck me that I thought was funny was when they get into kind of the ballad part where Freddie gets down on the piano and starts playing, the bass player is like right to his side, to like his right, but like straight on from the camera, and that dude cannot stop fucking looking at the camera, and it's so distracting. It's like you could tell how hard he is trying to not look at the camera. He's like, first he's looking at it, and then he's kind of like, I kind of want to look again. But I can't. They told me not to. So anyways, that cracked me up. That was basically my whole point of bringing up the video, was how funny that was to me. But they had some funny, crazy, weird effects for 75 with like kaleidoscope looking things with all the band members But
I mean, that was cutting
check
edge.
out the video. Yeah,
check out the video for sure.
Yeah.
Don't just watch the Wayne's World version. So panic at the disco. I could say that 100 ways, I think. In 2021, they covered this song for the Suicide Squad soundtrack.
2016. Yeah, Suicide Squad.
Oh, 2016.
Marvel,
I just must have wrote
Marvel or DC.
Oh. Yeah, here's the deal. I'm not a movie guy, and when I started reading about Suicide Squad, like the first 4 words were something about Superman, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to read this. I'm sure Chuck will talk about it because I'm not into the Superman thing.
The movie. I don't remember Superman being in it, but if it's Superman, it must be DC, not Marvel. But
see, I don't even understand all that stuff. But I think it was after Superman died, because I think the first words were after Superman had passed away, and I'm like, okay, back button. and started down another path.
So I think this is from the Suicide Squad movie I watched. So there was one with Will Smith that I heard was really bad, and I never watched that one. But this one I watched, and I enjoyed it.
Nice.
Fun movie. I don't get too
Nice.
deep into the superhero lore or anything like that, or superhero movies in general. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was a fun watch, and there's a couple songs on that soundtrack that I like, and I did not realize that this song was on that soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I had just heard, other songs in random Spotify playlists that played or whatever, but yeah, I did not know that this song was on there. I did not hear it until we decided to pick this song for the episode.
And this researching this album, I realized not only because I'm being targeted by hymns all the time, but I was trying to find out more about the recording process, and so I typed in like Panic at the Disco recording Bohemian Rhapsody, and this is the quote of the headline of the most read article. It was, quote, Panic at the Disco go all, quote, your da, quote, end quote, cover Bohemian Rhapsody. And I'm like, what does your da mean? I felt like it was
I don't know.
Scaramouche. It means your dad. And I was like, oh geez. So then I was like, well, I went and started reading this article, and this is the first sentence in the article. Like that flamboyant fucker at the party who won't put his guitar, Panic at the Disco have taken on Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. And I'm like, dude, I gotta go back again, because like I was like, I ain't finishing this thing. I don't even know what I'm getting into. It made my brain hurt, so I stopped. But
Wow, you don't read flamboyant fucker in an article very often.
you know what the website was? DIY. So when I clicked on it, I was thinking, well, what is a do-it-yourself, website doing it? And then I realized it's not about home improvement.
No,
It's about it's about progressive, like, things, people that say you're da and flamboyant fuckers. It
okay.
was way over my head.
I never heard your da. Um,
Yeah.
so it's a site we probably won't link in the comments.
Don't go to that site.
How
But I
many
will
how
say
many
this.
viruses or cookies do you have now?
Exactly. So after so those were my first two tries. Trying to figure out what Suicide Squad was, and then going to my home building website that was not that. Finally I found out that this Brandon Urie, who was the central figure in Panic at the Disco, dude's really talented. Plays a bunch of instruments. Got signed before they ever played a show. And dude, I mean, dude's legit. From Las Vegas area.
Mm-hmm.
Huge range of influences: Frank Sinatra, Queen, obviously, Bowie, Tom DeLonge from Blink 182, and Taylor Swift.
He actually
And
did a song with Taylor Swift.
yeah, yeah.
Me. No, it's me with an exclamation point.
He loves those exclamation points. Like Prince likes the number 2. He likes exclamation points. He's constantly like shift 1. He also, so he's got ADHD and synthesia, which
Okay.
is, so what this is it's when your certain sensories of your mind triggered altered effects. So he sees music as colors.
Ah,
And Bjork and Jimi Hendrix had the same thing. They didn't read music. They may have, but they didn't. They saw music,
okay.
and that's
I've heard of
part of their
that.
genius.
I didn't realize that's what it was called, or
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
remember. Yeah, that's interesting.
yeah. And I mean, again, I thought this guy was going to be kind of like, kind of a bullshit. I thought this band was going to be kind of a bullshit deal.
Mm-hmm.
Man, reading into this guy, he's legit, and his band is
Yeah,
all great musicians.
yeah. So I didn't. I still don't know too much about the band or Brendan himself, but when we started researching the song and we picked it, and so obviously I pulled up their discography on Spotify. I had realized, oh, there's like at least 3 songs that I really like and enjoy that are on just random, 2010 pop playlists that I'll put on randomly or whatever. And so yeah, I started listening to more. It's fun. It's different, kind of a
Yeah,
change of pace music. But
you're
really
right.
good.
I agree. Yeah, I agree that it's really a good change of pace music, and um, they're kind of all over the place. They really have a great repertoire because they pull from so many different areas, and that's what I think is cool.
Hmm. Yeah, and I can tell you one thing: they are not depressing like Death Cab for Cutie.
Yeah,
They might have
yeah,
some,
they're not
maybe
death
some of their
cab
lyrics
for cutie.
or no, they're it's fun. It's a change of pace from what I listen to.
But they recently disbanded, and I'm saying in the last year, because
Hmm.
Brennan and his wife were having a baby, which was valiant. I think that's great.
Hmm.
Um, and this song, a little bit longer by just a few seconds, um, and it alone has 106 million plays on Spotify. When
Nice.
when I listened to this, I thought there's no way that this could be close. And I listened to and it's good, folks. The other thing that was good is if you go on YouTube, there's a couple versions of them doing this live.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, I didn't check out any of their live ones. I should. I'll have to.
I look if I was at one of those shows, I that wouldn't be their beer run that I would take.
No,
I would
everybody loves to hear a cover at a live show, no matter the band, and for them
right.
to have the gall to play this live. I mean, it was enough to record it, but then to go play it live, that's impressive.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to check out some of the live ones. But should we give this one a listen?
I think it's time.
Let
I think it's
everybody
time.
listen to it again, like Nick said. Like, yeah, it's good. It's worth a listen. We highly recommend it. Um, so I'm ready if you are.
Let her rip.
All right. Wow. For a minute there, I thought they added some extra vocals that I didn't hear the first time around listening, or the multiple times I listened to this before that. But then I realized Nick was just singing along. I could hear.
Oh yeah,
All of a sudden, I heard
all the Roger Taylor
anyway
parts.
though. It was hilarious. I had to look up. I was like, "What am I hearing?"
Oh yeah, oh
That
yeah.
made my night. That was great.
It is a sing along song. It's probably
Hmm.
the most complicated sing along song you can have. And I tell you, man, they did a hell of a job. There's certain shortcomings that you come across.
Hmm.
But the addition of an orchestra,
Yeah.
I don't think I think that they've they boosted certain parts with that.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, that was one of my notes. Was that they the strings were a
Mhm.
nice add. I
Yeah,
enjoyed them.
and it's needed. I mean, look, again, we were talking about Anthrax doing "Carry On My Wayward Son" or "Carry On Wayward Son" a few episodes ago, and you know they did a straight tribute to this. And you go into a studio and you're like, hey, I really love that song, so I'm going to do it. But this song is just almost an unreplicable song, so you're going to have to pull
Hmm.
out every stop that you got. Um,
Yeah.
and go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it. Adding that, they had their own little flair. Like the
Yeah,
headbanger part, you could tell they put Panic at the Disco's touch on that part for sure. It was just a little bit of a different kind of headbanger jam to it. I don't, a little heavier sound almost.
yeah.
Um, but they did a great like with the vocals. Obviously, you're not gonna match Freddie Mercury and company with the singing, but they did a great job with it. I mean, you're getting it in the different channels. For the different parts, you're hearing it in
Oh
your
yeah,
left ear, right ear.
yeah.
So they matched that well. Um, and again,
I'll
yeah,
say this.
go ahead.
I I know I got a hot take here. The
Hmm.
headbanging part, like when it goes right into it, if you start right there, I give it to Panic at the Disco.
Nice, nice.
It gets me going. The other one's great. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, and I think that's modern equipment and making sure the layers are spot on. And
Hmm.
um, like that part. I'm like, okay, they at that part of the song, I'm like, they have a chance. I don't know what it means, but they have a chance.
Hmm.
So it. And then
Yeah.
the studio effects that he does on his vocals from time to time, whether it be the mono sound, I guess. There's certain
Hmm.
times he does that.
He also, it
Um,
seems like, uses an accent once or twice. Um,
yeah,
like there's this one part I can't I wish I would have written it down when I was listening to it, but it almost sounds like he says a word like with a German accent, and
I,
every time I hear it, I pick up on that little thing where it sounds like an accent, and it
yeah.
just kind of makes me chuckle.
And he even does a little Michael Jackson yelp, like I mean, in the middle there. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but I hear it. I'm like, oh, that sounds like Michael Jackson. Um, yeah, again, there's nothing to fault there. If that was their song, you'd be sitting there and being like, gee, that's a hell of a song.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And
I talked to some people, kind of gave little spoilers that we're doing this song, and they, talked to a few people, and they asked me, well, who covered it? And I said the band, and immediately, well, God, it's got to be shit, oh no, it's
it
not
ain't shit.
worth it. And it's like, yeah, just listen to the episode, and
Yeah,
you might change your mind.
like I said, if this was their song, and we're probably transitioning over here into voting area, but
Hmm.
if this was their song, you'd be like, wow, this is one of the greatest modern day songs of all time. And look, I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody has stood the test of time. I mean, it went to number one when it was originally out. It went to number one after Wayne's World. It went to number one after Freddie Mercury's death. It went to number one after the 2018 movie.
Hmm. Of
I
the
mean,
same
look,
name.
yeah, I mean, it's a crazy song. Um,
It's a
so,
masterpiece.
so it is. It is. I think
Yeah, so do we
I
want to
think
get to
everybody kind
the
of knows where we're
our
going with
voting
this.
phase? Yeah.
Yes,
I
the
mean,
voting phase. Get the gong of decision. Is that what we call it?
oh yeah, it's ready. I think I almost spilled a little of the gong of decision when I was moving over to my left side here. But I'll go first this time since you went last time. And
I spilt a little gong
no,
of decision. Nice.
I almost spilled a little gong of decision. But no, let me start out by saying that Panic at the Disco plays homage to the original song, and I truly think they do a great job with it, and it's a valiant effort. They infuse their style into the performance, and the production of the song is top notch. Um, like Nick had mentioned, they recorded this, 40 years later. Yeah, at least 40 years. I don't want to do math right now, but so there's a lot more options during production. I'm glad we chose this song, this cover version, because it did introduce me more to more of Panic at the Disco, and I think I'll definitely be listening to them more. Um, that being said, Bohemian Rhapsody is an epic and brilliant song that Queen wrote. Freddie Mercury, Brian May did a lot of the arrangements on it. Freddie Mercury wrote the lyrics. The way Freddie sings, like we discussed earlier, with him going from delicate vocals to more raspy, just an instant and going back and forth is amazing. The harmonies, the way it was recorded analog is just extremely impressive. Um, it's just inspiring, and I'm going to go with Queen.
Yeah. You know, I forgot about the gong of decision. Um, you know, Queen's my pick. I'm gonna cut to the chase there.
You picked it
So
that
I
early.
guess
I had to gong it. Just
I
like at the
guess
end of the song. That's the end of the episode. Bye, everybody.
So tell us what you guys think. Queen or Panic at the Disco? Leave your notes in the comments.
You can give your notes on the song, man. I'm not cutting you off.
Nah, it's okay. It's all good. You said it perfectly when I think that, when we talked about doing this channel and doing these things is, we want to introduce people to new music and have good conversations about it. And this did this for me. I mean, Panic at the Disco, I will listen to more of. I actually listened to a lot of them today, just doing some work, and I think everybody should go into listening to music with this open mind. I mean, you can talk to people and say, I didn't, I didn't like it, or I don't like that band, or whatever it is. But gosh dang, listen to the songs. Listen to the, give every song a chance. Give it more than a few seconds, and appreciate what those artists are trying to do. And so I'm thankful that we went through this. And it's there's not a knock here on either band or Panic. As a matter of fact, it's probably a net gain. So let us know what you guys think, and put some of your favorite Panic at the Disco songs in the comments, and let us know what you think. And we appreciate everybody tuning in and all the feedback.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to everybody who's listening, giving us feedback, comments. We love it. We love it. We love doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Over and out. We over and out.